Thank you. So
I
approval of the
move
minutes.
I
Yes.
move to approve the minutes.
Thank you. A second,
I'll second it.
Mandy. Mark, you okay with it?
Yes,
And I'm fine with it, so the minutes are approved. Okay, special business, budget. I think Keith has got a bullet point on the budget itself coming up later on. Yeah, he does, number 2.
I do.
So we'll probably just forego that and we can really get into it there if we have to, do whatever we have to talk about. That's okay with everybody. The recreational activity, Mandy, has there been any movement on that you're aware of?
No, like I said, I kind of gave up on the food truck. So
Okay.
we don't really have anything else right now.
Okay, maybe next spring when the weather starts, the winter's behind us, we can sit there, take a good run at it and start something going. It's a very good topic, I think, to bring back at the time. The Personnel Committee, which is Mark and myself, here again, I think Keith also did a fast run at it. But I'll just make a statement on behalf of Mark and myself. We did talk about this. As everybody knows, it's been a very difficult time to find a replacement for Keith. He's left a footmark behind that's going to be hard to fill. And we've made some offers, and sad to say that, but none of really came to reality. But we did have some good news. We had a long conversation last week with a headhunter, and it's been Mark and I are both recommending that we do hire the headhunter, which is a cost of approximately $27,000, but I don't think we have the final proposal yet.
That's correct.
And it's going to take us probably about 30 to 90 days to get them fully engaged. And the nice thing about it is, which I found unusual, does come with a 12-month guarantee. So, and the way they're talking, it was a very interesting and enlightening meeting. The one thing I think the board needs to keep in mind that we're getting into Thanksgiving in a week or so, then a month we got Christmas, and then after we got New Year's, so it's going to be a very difficult time to really start trying to make this thing all come about. So in reality, I think we pretty much accepted the probability that we're not going to see any results out of this till January. And Keith did write a memo to the board. Sorry, go ahead.
Tony, I was just going to say, did you guys check with any other recruiting firms? That just seems like it's pretty expensive.
Believe me, my experience, they're cheap. Normally you're paying 1/3 of the annual salary. And to
Yeah,
come
this
with,
this is a flat rate deal. It's one price and guaranteed placement, and they are a nonprofit organization.
it's a government human resource organization that basically focuses on government type employees. That really makes it very familiar. Robert
Got
has
it.
So I think with all the packages that come with it and the time that Mark and I have spent on trying to make this thing work so far the last 60, 90 days, it's very difficult and very time consuming. And we need somebody to do the legwork that we don't do it on an everyday basis and that we're not proficient at. I never did work for human resources, only did it out of necessity.
And I gather that they have a lot of experience with positions like this also.
Yes.
That's nice. Hey guys, Derek just wanted me to let you know he's trying to log in. He can't get it to connect.
Okay, it's fine. We'll pick him up when he comes in. Not a problem there at all. And the last thing I would like to add, I think the board all saw the email. Keith is being very cooperative and working with us by realizing that it's taking longer than expected. And other than his trip to Belize, which I won't let him forget, he will be absent here and there, but he is going to stick around and help us out through this all. And we do, or at least on my side, we very much appreciate what he's doing for us. Mark, you want to add anything to my nickel?
Nothing else. I think that's pretty much it. I was pretty impressed with, her name is Lisa, I believe, but I was very impressed with her when we talked to her.
It was
And-
Deanna.
Deanna.
Deanna, yeah, she was very, very good.
I like Lisa too, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, sorry, I got the name wrong.
Hi, Keith, everyone. This is Derek. I just called in. I'm still trying to connect on the Zoom.
Okay, not a problem, Derek.
All right.
Thank
I'm
you for-
here. I'm just trying to connect.
Okay, so you're 4869 is Derek. Gotcha. Okay. Moving on, public comments. I'm not aware of any comments that have been requested. And I don't see any notes at the bottom. Matter of fact, I'm just looking at, they're almost only, never mind. Moving forward, managers report. Keith, I'm gonna let you start.
Tony, so one thing, let me draw your attention to, so for this meeting, we've got the public hearing for the 2022 budget,
Yes,
and that fell under item 6A. So if any of the public have any comments, because we have not in the office received any written or verbal comments about the 2022 budget, the draft budget.
nor have I individually in my emails, and Mark is shaking his head. He hasn't received anything.
Okay.
So basically, people have had the opportunity. I'll take that back. I had a long conversation with one of our residents here about the budget and about the rate increase. It was a combination of two. And I'll just hope I can get it right. I'll just repeat what he said. And he basically asked me, just after all the analysis we had done for the rate increases and the budget, that do we think, the board, that the increase is sufficient to put the reserves out there that we're gonna need down the road? Which that question really surprised me, but it kind of shows me that we did get people's attention. They are looking at it and they understand what we're doing. So I don't know if it was really a comment, it was just an observation he made. And of course, my answer is yes, I think we're heading in the right direction.
Mhm.
I've known him for 4 years and he knows my position on the old rates. What we used to. So we'll just, unless somebody pops up here, Keith, we'll just keep going on.
Okay,
We have questions, we'll address them, and if not, it's gonna go on next month's agenda for approval.
yep, sounds good. And if we happen to get any comments in between this meeting and next month, comments or questions, we'll make sure we bring them to the board. And everyone will know what the questions were.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so the first one, yeah, I know it's a repeat on what I've been briefing over the last couple meetings, but you know, it looks like folks are kind of waking up and seeing that there has been a rate increase. So I know Barb and Jamie both have fielded several questions from folks about that. And basically, we send people back to the fact sheet that we put together that talks about the history of how we got from where we were back then to now, and what the reasons were for the rate increases. So now the only difference we can see in this area now is that Chris Brandery from RCAC is going to be sending us a final report. That'll cover the rate increase process and the results. We should see that final report in the near future. So number two, again, that is a carryover as well. And I know, Tony, you had a recommendation to remove that, but I just want folks to know that we are following a process, and I'm keeping this updated to let people know when things have been completed. For instance, that we did post a draft budget on our website, and as a requirement of state statute, we had to notice it in the Durango Herald. And that's been in the Durango Herald for the last 2 weeks now. And then, of course, this month, we have the public hearings. And then next month, December 14th board meeting is when the board will actually go ahead and adopt that budget for 2022. The third item has to do with the Unit 3 amendment to the service plan. On October 27th, I sent a letter to La Plata County Community Development Director, Neil Starkebaum, the La Plata County Clerk and Recorder, La Plata County Planning Department, and the Board of County Commissioners to close the loop on a request to amend the service plan. And all the board members have seen a copy of that, and I think several of you provided inputs to that as well, which I appreciate. And I've also attached a copy of that letter to the manager's report, and that's shown as attachment A. So the
Has there been
details are in
any-
that letter.
Is there any response from anybody to any one of us?
None. I got
I
no
didn't-
response. I've gotten responses from Candace Mann, one of the residents up there, and then Tad Zachard, also one of the residents up there, basically commending the district for continuing to try to support them, but I have got no responses from any of the government employees or the Board of County Commissioners.
There's a strong possibility that I will see Matt Selka on Thursday. And if I do, I am going to brief topic with him.
Okay.
Just to get his reaction to that letter.
Yeah, because I mailed letters to each one of the Board of County Commissioners members, so. Yeah,
Yeah, when we do the Veterans Day deal on Thursday at the cemetery, Matt's always been pretty good at showing up.
okay,
So
awesome.
if I hear anything comes out of it, I'll let everybody know.
Okay, next item has to do with the Small Improvement District Program for water and sewer mainline extensions. So next year, we're looking at the mainline extension along Snowbird Court. And then, so the deadline for the residents to prepay their tap fees is November 15th. We sent out friendly reminders a week ago. So we're only awaiting a payment from one of the residents. And I spoke to that individual, I believe it was yesterday. And he's putting his payment in the mail in addition to the completed service agreement. And so this project is on the board for next summer.
Good.
GFL, which is Green for Life dumpster roll-offs. So in the past, we've been paying GFL $460. And so a little history on that. WCA was the carrier, the waste treatment carrier. WCA was bought out. I'm sorry? Okay, WCA was bought out by GFL, which stands for Green for Life. So we have been paying WCA and GFL a cost of $460 per pull on our dumpsters. And just want everyone to know that with the amount of trash that the subdivision produces, so we have been averaging about 3 of those pulls per week. So a couple of weeks ago, we noticed that GFL had increased our costs to $529 per pull. And we never received any notification about the proposed increase or any agreements from them to sign any cost increases. So long story short, we contacted their territory sales rep and their sales manager. And after meeting with them, they actually came here to my office. So they adjusted our costs back to $480. And that's going to go through next year. And they're also in the process of crediting us for all of the payments that were $529 that exceeded the $480. So going forward, they have sent me an agreement and we have locked in that price of $480 per pull. So hopefully we won't have any more surprises when it comes to that.
Just for some comments on this WCA, the individuals who've been basically engaging WCA themselves, I've been told about 4 or 5 months ago, they doubled the customer's price.
Yeah.
from $26 a month to, I think it was 51,
Yeah,
with hardly any notice.
yeah.
So they really did sock it to everyone, put it mildly.
Yeah, Tony, I mean, I'm just glad that we caught that because it would have, for those that don't check their bills and so forth, it'll go unnoticed and they'll just pay that, but
Yeah.
their territory sales rep and their sales manager were really good to work with and they're very apologetic. So, and they bent over backwards knowing that we are a very large customer of theirs, so.
Good. I'm glad we worked it out that way.
Yeah. So the vacant position, so we've already talked about my position. So we have an equipment operator's position that is still open, and we are still advertising that position. And speaking to Jim, what we're going to do is at the end of November, we're going to pause the advertisement for that position until spring through Indeed, because Indeed is costing us some cash to do that. But we're going to leave it open on our website. And then we'll come back in the spring, revisit this and find out which direction we want to go with getting that person filled. The problem is when we bring someone in so late in the year, they really need to be up to speed on how to operate all of our snow removal equipment. And there's no time in order to get them the skill sets in order for them to be able to operate that equipment safely and securely. So we'll put it on pause until the spring, and then we'll just go from there after that.
On the topic of the OM yard, how are we, with all this COVID-19 crap that's happening across the country and the political environment that they're making out of this, where do we stand as an employer with those people in the yard?
As far as the protocols, Tony?
Yeah,
Yeah, so protocols that we have in place right now are daily temperature checks, and that's for both admin here and then also in O&M. And then I put a policy and procedure out. It's been a year ago, and then I updated that. So, and I reminded both Jamie and Jim that that policy and procedure is still in place. So basically covers when folks are sick, have any symptoms, then they are not to come in. And then when they do get here, get to work, we do the daily temperature checks. And last conversation I had with Jim is that the folks that are driving together in the same vehicles, they need to mask up. If they're in a vehicle by themselves, then of course they don't need to wear a mask. At one point, I tried to implement mandatory vaccines or date or weekly COVID checks. I coordinated that with the attorney, but we backed off on that for various reasons and are just going with the daily protocols.
the other things I'm concerned about is now that our current president decided to put something out under the OSHA guidelines, which I think you can argue that point all day long, whatever side you're on. But OSHA to me has always been a safety standard procedures for operating vehicles,
Yeah,
equipment like that, for them to get involved with what I call health statuses. Really throws a monkey in. So I think we should monitor that to see where this all ends up going. Because I know there's a whole bunch of lawsuits filed, and I never expected something coming in on the OSHA track. That just threw me a curve.
yeah, and hearing about that, that's the first I'd heard about it, and yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either.
So anyway, let's just keep it, let's be aware of it, make sure we monitor to the extent of how it could affect us.
Yeah. Yep, and
Thank
in the meantime, we'll continue with our protocols that we have in place and
Okay.
do our due diligence that way.
Thank you, Keith.
You bet. Next item has to do with the comptroller position. So in the 2022 district budget, we've requested a new full-time position for a comptroller. And my bullet states that I was in the process of completing the job description. I've done it. I did that this morning. And then what I will do is I want to get Jamie and Barb to also take a look at that and see how that impacts the other two position or job descriptions for both Jamie and Barb. And then as soon as I massage that a little bit, I will send the comptroller job description out to both, to the personnel committee for their review as well. Next item has to do with the vacant landowners and homeowners. And this is a beware at the end of that. So for those that have not seen the photo that I have in the manager's report, I encourage everyone to take a look at that. So we were recently made aware of squatters that started building a structure. Excuse me. The phone is too loud there. So we were recently made aware of squatters that started building a structure on a piece of property within the district that they did not own. So the message that I've got to the folks out there, the landowners, is that they either need to visit their property periodically if it's vacant land, or have their neighbors keep an eye out for anything unusual that occurs on their property. And the same would apply for those homeowners that leave their houses vacant for any period of time throughout the year. Because when items like this occur, even though they're brought to the attention of the district, there's not a whole lot we can do because it's a private property issue. So we sent photos to the property owner who has been in contact with the local sheriff and then also La Plata County. But that's the extent of anything that we can do on that because we have no jurisdiction on private property.
Okay.
And we also put this on our website earlier today as well. So folks will just beware. Sorry, Tony, you
Yes.
had something?
No, I just want to make sure that the owners have been advised and they're taking action to the best of their ability, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yep, and it's amazing the structure that's on there, and you can tell that that's been being built for a while, but yeah, folks just have to watch out. So dead end and no outlet signs is our next item. So we received a request from a resident to install a no outlet or dead end sign up on Hilltop Drive, which then had us look district-wide to see where the other signs are required. So we identified 23 locations where we need to install these for emergency and safety reasons. So I'm going to go ahead and order the signs this winter, and then O&M, as the summer goes on, can go ahead and get these 23 signs installed. So next item is the electrical service work. So we ran into a situation where the contractor that completed the electrical service work between the meter and the house left a ditch that created a safety issue for the district. So when LPEA completes mainline projects, they coordinate with the district, and we're then in a situation of being able to follow up to ensure issues are not left for the district to handle. So even though LPEA approves service line work, they do not inspect it. So additionally, when I inquired of LPEA to get assistance in filling the ditch back in, they responded, quote unquote, with the following: any electrical work that takes place between the meter and the house falls under the guidelines and rules of the state inspection process, which falls under the responsibility of the landowner. So the district filled in the ditch, corrected the safety issue, but it's just important for folks to know that that was at the expense of all the residents within the subdivision.
Are we going to bill the landowner or the contractor? I think we should. Whatever time we spend on doing that, because it is the responsibility of the contractor / landowner to to finish what they're doing. And if they did not do so, I think we more so we get their attention by sending them a bill that says, hey guys, we're doing your work for you.
Well, and then the only thing that comes to mind is if this landowner was told by the state's inspection process that it was their responsibility to ensure that that ditch was filled in. I mean, we can go back to them and let them know that, but then I'm pretty sure it's gonna be one of those situations where they're gonna come back saying, oh, well, we were never told this.
Well, but the contractor knows better. The
It would seem-
landowner,
It would seem to me that the best course of action when this kind of thing happens is contact the county inspection office, because they had to have approved a permit. If they didn't, and somebody did this without a permit, they need to know and they need to enforce that. If the permit was issued and the inspection was never completed, then they still have a responsibility. It would seem like that would have been the best first step.
Well, I contacted LPEA, and that's who told me that this now falls under the state inspection process.
Yeah, but
And the homeowner.
wouldn't that be the county building program? I mean, they've got the inspectors. Don't they have to inspect that ditch?
nope,
I can look back and see the org chart of how that works, but it sounded to me that no longer falls under LPEA. There's a state electrical inspector that comes out and then inspects that.
Right. I'm talking about La Plata County building. They have an inspection office. I'm not talking about LPEA.
yeah,
La Plata County building should have issued a permit and they should be inspecting. And if there was never a permit issued, then La Plata County building department needs to be aware of this anyway. So it would seem, I mean, you might check with them, but I think they have to issue the permit. And if that's not the case, then I'm mistaken. And I guess I'd like to know what, if they have any involvement in it.
Yeah.
well, number one, let me back up for a second for clarification here. I'm assuming, at least I have assumed based on this paragraph, that there was a building permit issued for that location,
Through
Okay.
LPEA.
right, but not through the county? Because we're familiar, aren't we on the loop when the county issues a permit that we know about it because of the impact fees?
Well, the county, they provide permits for buildings.
Right,
So this wasn't, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Tony. It's pretty convoluted.
So there's no building here? Where do they run the power to?
Well, yeah, Derek might be able to fill that in. As the way I understand it is, the service line was run from the meter under our road over to a lot, which was right next to Derek's house. So Derek, is there a building right there as well? I don't think he's. been-
Yeah, it's just to the, can you hear me
Yes.
okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Can
We
you
can
hear
hear
me? So, yeah, it was a lot just right next to us. And the funny thing was during the summer, they had to crane in both pieces of the house, did all that. But the funny thing is, other than the 411 guy who came out and sprayed utility lines, the same guy in the backhoe who did the building and did all the rock work, the backhoe, everything, dug that trench from the main box through the road, thing with this giant swath of ditch wide open. In fact, the young girl drove a bike into it and broke her wrist. So that's why, I was concerned about it, but I don't recall, I could be wrong on this, but I don't recall seeing anybody, whether it's Excel, whether it's Black Hills, LPEA, no one there did any of that work. It was the same guy in the same backhoe for the whole 2-3 weeks period.
could we dig into this a little bit? There seems to be a hole in the process here somehow between, because my initial take when Derek wrote this is that the building department should do an inspection for it. Okay, that was my initial take on it. I think Mark basically said the same thing.
Yeah.
After listening to what Derek just said, it sounds like they put the line in, but there's no building permit. Because if there was a permit, the office should know about it because of the impact fee. And I think we pretty much coordinate that with the building department.
Mhm.
So, and if that's true, then to me, the burden falls on that contractor, the kid with the backhoe, whoever the hell he is.
Well,
He
and I
can make
think
a safety like that.
And I
Yes,
think for
sir.
that lot, as I understood it, and again, I'm just going with what I was told, I was talking to guys over there, The owner of the lot put the house on it. They did all that, then sold the house. So, I mean, once they were done, they got the heck out of there. And of course, we're out of there. But really, like I say, I don't recall seeing any utility trucks there. It was all just this guy on his backhoe doing all the work. Not saying he didn't have permission or anything, but I didn't see any other vehicles out there. And honestly, between the time it took to clear off the lot, pour the foundation, and crane in the 2 sections of the house, we're talking maybe 3 weeks.
Wow,
So it was a modular that went in.
sounds like it.
Yeah.
And don't we get impact fees for modulars? too?
Yes.
We
So we
do.
do-
There's a cost per square foot that we charge for that, but I don't know. I'll have to go back and Derek, because that's a lot right next to yours, right?
Yeah, I can't recall the address. I'm 280, but it's the house just right next to us. You can't go the other way because it's in the ravine, but yeah, it's just right next to us.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's 228.
Yeah, I think the
228
liability,
sounds right.
Yeah,
the liability risk for something like that existing within the subdivision may not be ours, but I think it would behoove us to be cautious or trying to get something in place that something like this doesn't get left undone like that.
yeah.
And I think that was Derek's point to begin with, and I totally agree with that. But if
Mhm.
there's a gap in there between a modular and a stick build, and that the county building inspection department never gets involved, that really, in my mind, sends up all kinds of little red flags.
No, they do get involved. I have a modular, and the county building inspection department was involved all along the road. They had to come and inspect everything. So there had to be a building permit. They had to be involved. And their responsibility for the electric line is, I'm not sure, but I think we need to ask them so we know for the future.
I think I would send a bill to the people that own the lot, that said, hey, we had to go do this because you're a contractor or builder, whatever. And just, let's not make a big issue out of it, but let's at least get their attention that what they did is wrong.
Well, and I'm not sure the current homeowner even would have any knowledge of it. Like I say, the person got in there, put the house up, and then it was for sale for a good long time before it got purchased. So I don't think the person who bought the lot to put a house on it, again, I think the owner of the lot put the house on it, flipped it, sold it, and was out of there. So it's I don't think the current owner have any idea that happened.
And at least we'll get their attention, Derek. Maybe,
Yeah,
we'll-
no,
maybe
I'm just,
I understand.
Yeah.
Let's
but
just,
like I say, it's not a huge concern. Not a huge concern to that young lady broke her wrist. And there's a huge ditch right there, and a big tuft of grass around it, so it's kind of hard to see when it grows real thick in the summer. But yeah, she rode through there, broke her wrist, and that's when I kind of looked down there, and some of that line looks almost exposed to me. But
God, that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
We understand involvement is always a big issue, but I think when it involves our community as a whole, we should at least be conscious of it and try to keep an eye on it. And if we can plug a hole somehow, let's plug it. If
mhm.
it means to get somebody's attention, let's at least 50 cents or 58 cents in a letter is just enough to get somebody's attention, see what happens. We're not gonna make an issue out of it anyway, but I think I am concerned. Well, the same reason you wrote it up, Derek. It is a concern.
yeah, and Keith, I appreciate the background with the other 1556 Pine Valley Road. I just, I was making some assumptions there, but just going off the last thing that happened by my house. But if O&M did that, like I say, I trust they'll come back and take care of it, because I know they will. But I just wondered if that was the builder or if that was somebody else.
Oh, on Pine Valley Road, that was us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure about that. I just know who the builder is and kind of thought, well, that's kind of interesting.
Right,
I don't know if the two-
yeah, no, that's a situation where we had to do the service line from the main and.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was not complete, and I'm not sure if it's complete yet, but for the tap work and then connection to the tap, but we have at least gone back in and have made the road more drivable. and safer. So,
The problem with
That's
that
good.
one
That's good.
was, the problem with that one was that they had just paved the road. And like the next day is when they dug the trench. So it was so noticeable because the road was in such good condition. So I think that is how we all on the loop road right there, that's how we noticed that one so much.
right. Right. Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
So the temporary patch is done. And then once the work is done over there, we'll go ahead and we'll smooth that out again and put it in its final condition.
All righty. Well, let's see what else we can do about this in the future. Okay.
Yep. We'll take a look at it. So next item has to do with our new office building. As everyone knows, is up on 82 Alpine Forest Drive across from the mail stop. A lot of good updates there. So from the utility standpoint, all the utilities are in, which includes the gas, the water. All trenches have been backfilled to include the electric trench that was backfilled the week of November 1st. I provided photos to board members and then also to the bank, First Southwest Bank, showing that. So next item has to do with the office framing updates. So structural framing of the outer shell is in the process, and we should be complete with that to include the roof trusses and the exterior sheathing and roof sheathing the week of November 15th. And then our framing inspection through the county will occur after that. The parking lot is final graded, and the driveway is also graded, and the contractor has been bringing in gravel for both the parking lot and the driveway. He's been working on that this week. From administrative and financial standpoint, so the total award amount on the contract was $360,502. So we've had no change orders to date. However, so due to the fluctuations in the market, with the cost of items, so in the next week or so, Martin Hodder and I are going to sit down and look at any additional cost increases and consequently any decreases that we have seen to date. And then we'll issue a change order for that. So any increases will have to be funded from the district's operational budget. So we're up to draw number 3 right now. And draw number 3 was issued to the contractor in the amount of $57,669.63. That was issued on November 2nd. And then total amount issued between draws 1 through 3 is $112,433.48. So we have almost $249,000 remaining on the contract to be issued to the contractor. And that's not based upon any change orders that we may see in the future. And as I alluded to, as I update the board on the progress, I also update First Southwest Bank as well. And I've already sent them the photos that I have in the manager's report too. So I think we're still looking at an estimated construction completion date of January/February 2022. Contractor still feels like it's the end of December. Awesome. If we achieve that, then we'll be happy. But we're letting folks know we feel it's going to be January/February. So the construction credit line, or the CD, through First Southwest Banks, that was extended on October 19th to April 23rd to account for any delays in the construction phase. So all the current lien releases, which tells us that the contractor is paying his subcontractors, and any inspection reports that we have received to date, we have forwarded them to First Southwest Bank, which is a requirement of our loan process. And so we have gotten in our refrigerator, the range, and the hood. And they're sitting in our office here that they'll be moved over to the new building once it's completed. And we're also looking at the condition of the furniture that we have in all three of our offices, knowing that they have been here probably since the 70s when the district was incorporated. So we're gonna, either the end of this week or first part of next week, Jamie, Barb, and I are gonna take a little road trip over there, start looking at the spaces, look at the furniture we have, and start determining what, if any, additional furniture and desks and so forth we're going to need to put into the office. In the manager's report, there's several photos in here, which kind of shows where we are going. And that's the update on the new office. And next item has to do with Pine River Shares food drive. So Pine River Shares is going to be running a food drive, and we'll have an enclosed trailer park for 1 week by the bus stop, closer to the mail stop before Thanksgiving. And they're going to leave the trailer unlocked from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so people can put food inside of that trailer. And I've also got a phone number in there in the manager's report for folks to call Pine River Shares if they need additional information or any specifics about what Pine River Shares is going to be doing there. And my final item has to do with the wastewater treatment.
What was the week? What was the date on that?
Don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I put in the manager's report for if anyone has any questions to contact them.
Okay.
Because the individual that reached out to us to verify whether or not they could put a trailer there, he didn't put a date in that. So I'm just directing people to Pine River Shares.
Okay.
And the final item was with the wastewater treatment plant discharge permit. No updates to report on that. And that's the end of the manager.
Just to let you know, Keith, I think you probably already knew it, but I had a brief conversation with Martin a couple of days ago, last week, before you put the trusses up.
Yes.
And he's very confident that December is still a make do. And even Ann stepped in, and she's now agreed to put him and his crew on the cookie list. Which she dropped off yesterday.
And Keith, I think you had one more page of the manager's report, unless I have
Nope.
this in the wrong order. The
Nope.
Cassell implementation.
No, that's
That's
Jamie.
Jamie.
Oh, that's Jamie's. Okay.
Yeah, that's Jamie's.
You're stealing her thunder.
Oh, office manager's report, excuse me.
Yep, no worries.
All right, well, being you brought it up, Jamie, I think you're you're out there. Why don't you go ahead and pick up our Cassell update?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So we're still waiting for a project manager to be assigned and a kickoff date for Cassell. But in the meantime, I've been working with Invoice Cloud and printing systems to kind of get a game plan on what type of card stock that we can use so we can not have so much paper waste. And it looks like we found a perforated sheet where we can have 4 cards and there's no waste. So we're happy about that. I'm working with Pitney Bowes right now because our postage machine is obsolete. So we're working on a deal with them to get a new postage machine that'll be more efficient. And finished the 2022 renewal for workers' comp with the premium staying the same. And health insurance, we also wrapped up the renewal for that for next year. And with an increase of just 2%, which is better than last year, which was 5%.
I've got it in my notes as 3%. But I didn't print off the latest.
Yeah, no, it's
2%?
That's
Okay.
correct. Yeah.
Hey,
We-
Jamie, back on the Cassell implementation before you get finished here.
uh-huh.
What is the holdup getting a project manager? I mean, they told us we were going to be implementing this almost a year ago. And at this point now, we're held up because they can't get us a project manager. Do you have any insight?
Well, it's kind of like first come, first serve. So first of all, they had to input all the data tables of information that we sent over with 3 different individuals. And we had to update that again with the new rate change. So that has to be put in the system. And then we just have to wait for a project manager to be available, which I suspect it'll be probably within the week, because I've been corresponding with them the last couple weeks and we're getting closer.
Okay, and they say they hope within a week.
Yeah, we should
Okay.
have a project manager assigned soon.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. So we had approximately 172 calls last month, with about 50 regarding the rate increase. As far as friendly reminders, as far as the billing, we mailed out 54, collected on 40. We still have about 14 that are delinquent. Shut off notices, we mailed out 20 and collected on 20. As far as property liens, since January, we filed 18 and released 8. So we still have 10 to collect on. So that's went fairly well.
Looking
And
good.
that's all I have.
Great.
Thank you very much, Jamie.
Yep, thanks.
And I know I got a Jim out there who's muted.
Yeah, so Trevor Mose, Jim is still on vacation, I believe, until first part of next week. So our working foreman, Trevor Most, is going to be giving the O&M report.
Awesome. Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You can.
Perfect.
Hey, Derek, you're on Zoom.
I'm here. I made it.
Thank you.
Too bad for all you, but yeah, to see this.
Yeah, so as far as our October O&M activities, we replaced a meter pit on East Pine Top that had a small leak in it. We put a water tap in on Blue Ridge Circle. We ended up cleaning out a culvert on Spruce, which is one of our culverts that was completely plugged up. So we got that cleaned out. We also installed a new heater and a Green Ridge booster station. And then you guys know we did the water tap for the new office. And we also had to install a new water pump in our chlorine building for our wastewater. And turned on some more heaters in our well buildings and our booster stations, which is part of our fall list. We also did the water and sewer tap on Pine Valley Road. And as far as the road maintenance on that, we did go ahead and added some more gravel to that to make that more smooth. And today we actually we had it bladed and we got it rolled now, so that part of the road should all be taken care of now.
Perfect.
We also got a call about the water being low on coming out of our head gate, so we went up there and cleaned out our head gate. We got all the duckweed cleaned off of our pond 4, and also our contact chambers for our wastewater. Got those cleaned out. And we're starting to replace old meters and RF units, part of the meter replacement program we got. And then obviously continuing work on our roads. And as far as our status of our fleet, our vehicle fleet, everything's operational. Our 5 pickup trucks are operational. Our 2 dump trucks are operational. We got one grader operational. Our rental steel drum is operational. Water trucks operational. Our lig trucks operational. Backhoe, skid steer Our 5 plow trucks are good to go. Our back trailer is operational as far as our loader. Good. And our air curtain burner is operational, and our generator as well. And as far as our safety incidents, we still have zero incidences. We had none in October, so I believe that's all I got here.
Thank you very
Good
much,
job.
Greg. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Roads are
Good.
looking in pretty good shape right now.
Job, T-Most.
I'm sorry. Hey, Martin, appreciate it, man.
You betcha.
Okay, Keith, I think it's back to you.
Yes. So on property taxes, we actually got a few $1,000 this month, which has us now at 99.3% of our distribution for this calendar year. Water pumping, so we've actually, we saw quite a bit of a drop in October as compared to September. So in October, we had 3.5 million gallons of water pumped between the 4 wells. September, we had 5.9, so that's a drop of what, 2.4 million gallons of water. And also have a chart in there that shows a comparison between the 3 years. So it looks like we're comparable to what was happening in 2020. So about this time back in 2021. So budget income expense report. So general fund, we noticed general fund expenses were a little higher than the revenues at this point. So we still continue to monitor that. So revenues are at 90% and expenses are at 95%. So we still have 2 months left in the calendar year where we will be having additional revenues coming in. So we're going to monitor that one closely because as I reported last month, that was the only one that that really kind of showed me a little bit of concern, but we'll closely monitor that as time goes on. So our water fund, the revenues are at 84% of budgeted, expenses at 81% of budgeted. Sewer fund, 83% of revenues, 83% budgeted for revenues compared to expenses at 76%. And overall, we're sitting at 86% of revenues budgeted to expenses of 85%. And on a normal, if you're looking at this on a 12-month cycle, so 12-month period, then 83% is a benchmark for September if you divided that evenly amongst the 12 months. So I think we're doing okay there. Like I say, we'll just keep an eye on the general fund and monitor expenditures.
Okay, thank you very much. Number 8, unfinished business, I show no activity. Number 9, the builder utility company issued. Derek, do you have anything else we can add to that, what we have already discussed?
No, nothing to add. Again, very appreciative of O&M. I wasn't trying to disparage O&M at all. I know they're very, very, very sensitive to what the roads, what the roads look like, kind of condition they're in. So I know that they're on top of it. It was just always kind of lingering. And in that spot just down there, I just thought that there had been something amiss. Something's not right to leave well, Keith, you saw about a 12-foot section of just ditch wide open. And, you know, as I boggle my mind, not that my mind is foolproof because it certainly isn't, but I feel like no one was there, utility company, or if they stopped out, it's probably for all of 5 minutes because that was during the summer. And we were home all that summer and didn't see LPEA, Excel, Black Hills, no one really there. And that same guy tore up our road pretty good and dug those trenches over to get the power there, which I understand you have to do, but just kind of left it, got the house put in and got the heck out of there, it feels like. Because it didn't sell for another, you know, I'd say 4 to 6 months after that. So I don't think the current homeowner had any idea about any of that.
Yeah, I think we need to see if somehow we can stay in tune with what's going on and make things happen. It's possibly the best answer to look forward to. So the fact that we get notified or people call us, I think is a positive thing that we're gonna basically ask. People know these incidents, but by all means, let the office know.
Yeah.
So we can take a look at it, maybe we can do something.
Yeah, so appreciate it. Thanks, Keith, for digging into that one. No pun intended.
Yep, no worries at all.
Thank
We'll
you for
do some
bringing it up.
forensics. We'll do some forensics and look into the process to see what we can find on that, so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Barry Derek, for bringing it up. I show no resolutions. That's nice. We're gonna have a shitload of them next month, I know that.
Yes.
Anyway, Mark, I'm gonna let you do the honors here on the last item on the agenda.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the disbursements from the date of 8th of October through the 3rd of November in the amount of $92,307.21.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Derek. Being I can't see it. Mandy, you okay?
Okay,
Yep,
with
I
me,
agree.
Carissa.
Carissa says okay, and I'm okay, so it's unanimous. The expenses are approved. And on that note, let's see what I got. I showed the time to be 2:29.
Woo!
We'll adjourn. And Jamie, I'm gonna swing by the office here in about half an hour, 45 minutes. So a vote on the adjournment at
I motion that we adjourn.
Hey,
Carissa.
Tony, this is
Second,
Jamie.
Gotcha. I'm in favor of adjournment. Derek, I think he's probably shaking his head, yes.
mhm.
Thumbs up.
Hey,
We
Tony.
are.
I'm in favor.
Hold on, Jamie has something to say.
I do. Hello. If you're, Tony, if you're coming by to sign checks, I don't need you to sign any checks. We got them all taken care of.
In that case, I won't stop by.
All righty, we'll just see your smiling face another day.
You got it.
Okay,
Happy
Hey, guys.
Veterans Day and thank you for your service, Tony and the others.
And go, that'd be Keith and Mark that I know of, at least.
Yes.
Oh, you're right, Keith.
By the way, in
Thank
case you guys did not know, we are having a ceremony at the Bayfield Cemetery at about 10:30 Thursday morning. It's gonna be very brief. And basically, we're gonna do the flags, things and all that at the 11th hour. And there'll be coffee and donuts available for those that come. And if we're lucky, knock on wood, we are supposed to have 4 F-16s fly over.
Get
Some-
out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get out. Hey, it took a lot of doing on the VFW's part to get them over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Awesome.
So
Wow.
hopefully that will happen.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, have a nice Veterans Day and we'll see you next month.
All
Will
right.
do. Good
Take care,
Veterans Day, guys.
You too.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
How do I adjourn?